How you doing? So what do I think about Hulk's buff? So let's take a look at his MCOC attributes. So when it comes to champion attributes, survivability 3 out of 5, damage 4.5 out of 5, ease of use 3 out of 5, utility 1.5 out of 5, defender strength 2.5 out of 5. Based on his champion attributes, he looks like he's going to be just slight above average champion based on his damage being 4.5 out of 5. It doesn't seem to lack of utility, only has 1.5 out of 5, and he seems like he's not going to be a hard defender to fight against. So that's pretty good, I guess. So he does have damage 4.5 out of 5. That's his best ability when it comes to champion attributes. So hopefully that comes to fruition in the game. So let's take a look at his abilities. So when it comes to abilities, always active. An enhanced immune system to provides full immunity to poison effects. So even before he got a buff, he always had that ability. So that's good that he still has that ability. So when it comes to new abilities he has now gained up to 90% degeneration resistance and up to 1173 attack rating basing on missing health, maximum benefit at 20% health. So that's really good. Instead of being at 1% health, he doesn't have to be at that point. He could be at 20% health to gain the most from his degeneration resistant and increased attack. So when it comes to increased attack, 1173 attack compared to that from his base attack, what is that? So it doesn't really seem much. So look, 2459, that's really about 45%. I'm not sure why they chose that number. They couldn't just made it like 50%, make the math easier, but whatever, it is about 45% around there, assuming my math is correct. So let's take a look at what else. When striking an opponent inflicted with a stun effects, reduce their combat rate by 20% potency, double while in gamma rage. So which will be 40% if he's in gamma rage. So what else? Fury max 15. Hulk's Fury passive grant plus 234.6 attack rating for 2 seconds unless otherwise stated. Their ability actually cannot be modified except by Hulk. So that's pretty good. 234.6. I would say, let's see, what is that compared to his base attack? This is, by the way, based on a 5-star rank 5, 2459. It looks like just over 90%. I'm assuming 95%. So max stack of what? 15. So with 15, that's probably close to 140% attack increase bonus with the what do you call that? And when he's at 20% health, he also gains increased attack about 45%. So you're looking at roughly 180% to 190% increased attack with the max stack of Fury 15. So when you look at it compared to his free buff, it's not quite as strong because at max sig, when he's at sig 1, he gains 200% increased attack. So even lower than that. But he does have ways for him to increase his attack even more. So we're going to take a look at that a little bit later. So when hitting the opponent, 50% to 80% chance to gain a Fury passive based on missing health. So the lower the health he has, he will gain up to 80% chance of getting a Fury passive. When struck, 40 to 70% chance to gain a Fury passive based on missing health. So the lower the health he has when he gets hit, the higher the chance he'll gain Fury. When struck, if Hulk loses more than 10% of his max health, gain 5 Fury passives. All Hulk personal Fury passive are paused unless he is in gamma rage, then they fall off one at a time. So basically reading this, he basically has a much easier time getting Furies compared to what he has before he got a buff. And he also pauses his Fury unless he's in gamma rage. So let's talk about gamma rage. So gamma rage passive, striking an opponent with a heavy attack while Hulk has 15 or more personal Fury passive, inflicts stun for 2 seconds and triggers gamma rage. When Hulk has 15 or more personal Fury passive, he automatically enters gamma rage. So that will trigger when you have 15 Fury passive. the when it comes to Gamma Rage. While in Gamma Rage, if Hulk would gain a personal Fury passive, he instead inflicts physical vulnerability debuff, reducing physical resistance by 110.53 for 3 seconds, max stack of 20. So that's about 2300 at what do you call that? At max stack 20, if my math is correct. I think about 2300, is that correct? Or 2210. About 2210. So, it's something. It's definitely going to increase his damage. As I mentioned, his increased attack is not as much as it was before he got a buff, which is unfortunate, but there's other ways he can increase attack. So this is going to increase his attack by over 2200 at max stack 20 when it comes to reducing opponent's physical resistance by 2200. So while Gamma Rage is active, pause all trauma and physical vulnerability debuff on the opponent. Gamma Rage and when Hulk has no personal Fury passive when it goes on cooldown for 10 seconds. So something I just kind of brushed through is striking an opponent with a heavy attack while Hulk has 5 or more personal Fury passive, inflict a stun for 2 seconds, and triggers when Gamma Rage. So basically, when you have 5 or more personal Fury passive, what do you call that? You'll be able to stun an opponent for 2 seconds when you throw a heavy attack. Special Attack 1. The final hit inflicts a stun debuff for 4 seconds. Duration is increased by 100% while in Gamma Rage. So that would be 8 seconds while you're in Gamma Rage. Each time the stun is inflicted, its duration is reduced by 60% until the next time Hulk enters Gamma Rage. So that is they had to reduce the duration because obviously if you're in Gamma Rage, you can pretty much stun lock the opponent for almost the entire fight. So that's why they had to reduce the duration of that. So let's go with Special Attack 2. So the downfall about this is when it comes to special attacks, pre-buff he had a chance to stun opponent. It doesn't matter what special attack he throws, but now it's only in his Special Attack 1. But as I read earlier, he can now stun opponent with his heavy attack if you have 5 or more Furies. So Special Attack 2. The last hit inflicts a trauma debuff for 3 seconds for each personal Fury passive currently on Hulk. Trauma causes all hits to deal an additional 5% of the damage recently dealt as burst of physical damage, max stack 20. So this is ways where he can increase his damage on the opponent. So this is also great because it'll bypass like damage cap, like safeguard and stuff like that. So Special Attack 3, if Gamma Rage is not active, gain 10 Fury passive. If Gamma Rage is active, inflict a physical vulnerability debuff, reducing physical resistance by 8400 for 3 seconds. So that's a lot of reduced physical resistance. The only downside, it's only for 3 seconds, so you gotta make sure your opponent is stunned when you throw your SP3. So parry, stun the opponent, then throw your special 3 so you can pretty much hit your opponent for 3 seconds. So if you're not in Gamma Rage, you will gain 10 Fury passive, which is also a nice thing to have. So signature ability, Gamma Brawler. So when Hulk enters Gamma Rage or he strikes the opponent with a heavy attack while it is active, he gains an unstoppable passive for 5.5 seconds. Gain up to 8400 physical resistance and critical resistance while unstoppable based on missing health. Potency for both are reduced by 50% against skilled champions. So let's take a look at his synergies. So he has generic synergies. So he does have rework incoming synergies. So now with Sasquatch, his new synergy, Hulk, while the opponent is inflicted with a stun effect, their ability power rate is reduced by 100%. This effect lingers for 0.2 seconds after they are no longer stunned. So that's really helpful for Hulk. If you want to bring Sasquatch in your team, you reduce opponent's power rate so you can keep hitting them while they're stunned. So that's going to be really helpful. So you can constantly spam like SP1 and stuff like that. So while with Silver Surfer, he's immune to buffs. With She-Hulk, it's the potency on the Furies is 20%. And when it comes to Hercules, the Fury potency as well is 15%. So it's unfortunate it was reduced for Hercules. It used to be 35% for when it comes to Fury potency. Now it's been reduced to 15%, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. So you do want to have courage with Hulk because you're going to be fighting with low health pretty much a lot of times. So you gain that maximum of 20% if you have 3 points in courage. He's poison immune, so if you want to run liquid courage with him, that's good. Stupefy as well to increase the stun debuff duration. He also inflicts a lot of non-damaging debuffs on the opponent with his invulnerability debuff. So having despair will reduce the opponent's regeneration as long as they're not immune to it. And iniquity will increase your tankiness because that's going to help you reduce the opponent's attack as well. So what do I think about Hulk's buff? I think it's good. Is it better than Hulk? I don't. I mean, is it better than Juggernaut? I don't think so. I mean, but Juggernaut had the best buff in 2022, so it's really a very high comparison. But I think his buff is good. So let's take a look at what Hulk with synergies, and he still has some generic synergies that you can run with Hulk. So let's take a look at it. So as I mentioned, when it comes to his damage, this is pre-buff Hulk. He gains 200% from his base attack. If you have him with max sig and low health of 1, so he's not going to have that anymore. So the benefit about Hulk when it comes to Hulk buff Hulk is he doesn't have to be awakened to gain the most from his damage. He only gains extra utility from his signature ability and increase sustainability because he gains unstoppable, critical resistant, and physical resistance. Also, as I mentioned, his attacking won't be as strong as it is. Won't be as strong, but I say average wise, it'll be better for Hulk when you think about average damage, and you don't have to be at that 1% health. You can be only at 20% health, and he's gonna get the most from his damage wise. So that's the good thing about post buff Hulk. Also, you can also keep the old synergy he has with Thor Ragnarok. With Thor Ragnarok, when he brought below 20% max health, he gained an indestructible passive lasting 5 seconds. So this is really helpful for Hulk. So you're gonna be able to use those 20% revives. The only downfall is he's not immune to bleed, so he'll automatically trigger that if you do run liquid courage and double edge at the same time. So the good thing is he's gonna heal from the double edge because he's gonna be indestructible for those 5 seconds. So if you don't want this to be triggered, you want to use the 40% revive or have him about 28% health around there, maybe 30% if you want to be a little safer. But as I mentioned, just pop a 40% revive. That will keep you pretty much in that, so you don't get that indestructible passive trigger right away. Also, Thor Ragnarok has a synergy with Heimdall, which what happens is, he will gain up to 15% of his missing health instantly if you dash back, hold block for 1.5 seconds as well. And Heimdall has his own synergy. What happens with Heimdall? Where is it at? Is he once per fight, Heimdall will succeed on your behalf. The first time you would be knocked out, he gains both an indestructible and an unstoppable buff for 2 seconds. So he pretty much, when it comes to when it comes to Hulk, he gains like 2 indestructible. Also, you can have this team with Angela and Hela in your team. So what happens is, let's take a look at it. Champions have a 100% chance to instantly regain 20% of their HP, of their health. Basically, that's what it says. Just before they're knocked out, each living teammate reduces this chance by 20%. So if all of your teams is knocked out, you're gonna get 20, except obviously the champion you're using. You're gonna gain 20% of your health back. So I used that team, like, what is that? Thor Ragnarok, Hulk, Heimdall, Hela, and Angela to beat the Collector with my 4-star Hulk. That's pre-vop, and I think I used about 4 revives, something like that, which is really good. I mean, 4 revives against the collector with 4-star Hulk pre-buff. That's pretty good. So with synergies, he can become really tanky when it comes to Hulk. So he also has what do you call that? When it comes to Hulk, he does have some, what do you call this? Generic synergies, I would say. Was that called generic? I would say generic synergies that he has before. So let's look at Hulk. So with Hulk, with She-Hulk in the team, right? That's the old one, but with She-Hulk on the team, and then you could have Mr. Fantastic. You'll gain that stun. What do you call that? Power Sting debuff on the opponent, and he does increase his attack for every Fury. So that's gonna be pretty powerful for Hulk. Having She-Hulk and Mr. Fantastic on the team also has that synergy with what do you call this? What's her name? Titania, that gives increased potency on the Fury buffs. So that's still in the game. That's not going anywhere as long as all your members are present. Depending on how many teams you have in your team, that increases attack. Obviously, he has a synergy with Hercules that will increase his Fury. He's also a hero, so he can gain up to 20% attack with Nick Fury. So you can gain the most of from offense. If you don't, you can have him like become a super tanky champion, or you can have him just increase his attack synergy wise. That will make him hit a lot harder as well. So what I think about Hulk's buff, I think it's good. Could it have been better? Yeah, sure. Better utility would be nice, but it is what it is. I think a good thing about him, he doesn't have to be like at max sig to gain the most from his damage. Because I have him currently at sig 20 as a 6-star. Since he doesn't really benefit so much from his signature ability, I'll probably take my 6-star sig 20 to rank 3. Would you rank up Hulk when he gets a buff? I would. I think it's a good buff. Thank you.